Okay, so for today's Friday Tech Focus, we are going to talk about Picktime. Scheduling library resources, has always been a pain, but service by appointment now in this age of COVID has taken that pain to a whole new level. What are we going to do? I think Picktime might be a possible solution for you. It is an online appointment scheduling platform that lets you manage your appointments, staff, classes, rooms, and equipment. This is a fairly new service that's using a rather interesting pricing model, and I quote, "Picktime is and will always be free for the first few businesses that register. It is a small token of love from us for all the support and feedback given. We do plan on introducing a pricing plan, but we will keep it always free for businesses that register early." I don't know how early that means. I assume it's still going. I don't know how long it's going to continue, but that's right there up front. So it might make it worth getting in there and creating an account now, even if you don't think you're going to use it until later. So how do you get started? Well, it doesn't take much. Your basic registration to create your account. And then, of course, there's more information that you're going to be needed to fully set it up. It was really nice when I noticed that libraries actually shows up as a selected industry on the list. We all know that doesn't usually happen. Once you've got that done, this will be your main view. It's empty because I haven't set anything up yet. There's also an option to see a daily or a monthly calendar, whatever your choice. Or a daily overview. You can see this for each resource you're scheduling, for when you're really busy and need to narrow things down. But of course, there's really more setup that needs to be done. You can use Picktime to schedule all sorts of things. Services are one-on-one things, for example, time with a tech tutor. Classes are any services that you do for groups, so programming that you'd like people to sign up for. Resources are things that you might want to schedule. Meeting rooms, computer use, maker spaces, whatever. Setting up a service is pretty straightforward. Give it a name and a description. You can set colors for types of things to make them easier to see on your calendar, and set pricing if that applies to what you're doing. You'll notice I've only got one location, office, because that's all I have, but you can do many more if you like. There is a simple form to set up any location you need. And I like that it knows that you might have a virtual as well as a physical location. It kind of opens up your possibilities. Then you set up your people. You can assign certain team members to specific locations if appropriate, but you don't have to. And there's a lot more detail that you can add for your staff. And then you'll want to set up whatever locations and services your team might be working at or with. You can set up default working hours for staff members. And you have a lot of control over what your team members can do with Picktime. So who can schedule things, who can just view things, who only gets to see this on their calendar, whatever. It's up to you to set. So you've got your services and resources set up. How do you make this available? You create a booking widget and add it to your website. And among the apps and integrations or widgets ready-made to make it easier if you want to add something like this to your Facebook page, or if you have a specific website provider, there might be a ready-made widget for them. There are also integrations for calendars, video meetings, email marketing, contacts, analytics services, lots of things that you might be using. You would need to explore that on your own, of course. So what about patrons that don't want to use the website? Easy. You call this up and do it for them. They're on the phone or standing right there saying, I want to use this. Click on the book an appointment button on the calendar and go ahead and put it in, and then there you are with all your information in one place. Okay, so let's get out of the PowerPoint and take a look at this live. Give me a second to change my share. Okay, actually Sam, if I shared the monitor, do we now see the thing instead of my PowerPoint?
I see your Picktime calendar.
Perfect. I was hoping I set that up properly for this. So this is what it looks like for real. This is the weekly calendar for the overview. I haven't entirely yet figured out this customers thing. People don't need to be set up ahead of time. I think it maintains information there. So if you want to refer back to people, you can. Your team members or your staff. I have a whopping staff of 2 people here and 1 location. And you can edit this stuff at any time. Add more, remove things, set whether it's allowed for this particular resource to be booked online or not. There are plenty of reports. However, since I'm not actually scheduling and booking things, I don't have anything to show you here, but you can do all sorts of, you can see a summary of everything. You can do a report on cancellations, appointments by staff member, by location, by service. You can set the time frame you'd like to see. Looks like it's pretty complete that way. And here are more of those apps and integrations. So you can have this work directly with your Google or Outlook calendars, some of the video meeting services. If you use MailChimp or Constant Contact, it can work with that. None of us are probably using CRMs, but it can work with your Google Contacts and your Google Analytics also. And the help is available just off the question mark. There are all sorts of things here. It's searchable. There is also a good set of video tutorials that you can get to through the help, so that if you have any questions about what you're doing or need a little help with something, it's easy to get. If you want to create that new appointment for somebody in the future or somebody that's right there, just click New Appointment. And there it is. You create that, or you can block off a time when you don't want things to be available so that everybody can see this is already available right now. You can set up one-time or recurring appointments if you needed them. I think especially maybe for a meeting room, you might want to do that. You can set the time to pretty much anything you might want to for the duration. Pick your staff member who's handling it, put in notes, whatever you need there. This is the setup again for a service. You set up the basics, assign team members, whatever resources might be connected to that, and specific locations if you have them. If you don't, leave them blank. Don't have, oh, you can also set categories for things. Again, just to make things easier for you to see, assign a color to a category. And there you go. You can create your resource list, and then you can also set a schedule for your resources. And I haven't really done any of that since I didn't have anything to work with. Apparently a lack of creativity on my part while I was putting this together. And resources, just like the classes, you can assign colors, locations, whatever you need to make that easy to use for you. Okay. So this is where I usually introduce all the app variations that a product has, but Picktime does not have an app. It's designed in a way that it can be used from anywhere and at any time to suit your comfort. It can be used with phones, tablets, laptops, desktops. Just need an internet connection and a browser. I have played with it on a small tablet and was pleased with it. Everything seemed to scale pretty nicely. Might be a little busy on a phone. I didn't try, but I think it would certainly be usable and you would be able to get things done. Okay, so I've been flying through this. There haven't been any questions. Did anyone have any questions?
I haven't seen any come through either, but I love the flexibility that you could use this for like so many different applications in your library.
I don't know that there is any advantage. Would be you can have people register themselves for things. So you put the widget on your website, and then let me see, they can do their registration themselves instead of you tracking everything. But if that's what you want to do, that's certainly fine. This is just one other way to do it if you want to turn that over to people.
But you could integrate this with your Outlook calendar, right?
Correct.
So if somebody,
Yes.
if you had the widget on your website and somebody booked an appointment, it could automatically turn
Feed
up on an
into your
Outlook calendar.
Outlook calendar that you use for booking, for keeping
Or a
track
Google
of that
calendar, I
source or
assume.
whichever. Yes, it does. It has. It will work with both.
Very cool.
So it just depends on how you want to use things. Any other questions?
Have you seen similar programs, Eunice, when you were looking around?
I was hoping, I know I have one library who is starting to use this, but she isn't here this morning, so I don't know how it's going. I heard about it from, actually, I was at a county meeting, and one of my libraries said that they were getting ready to use it. When I talked to her, she had created an account but hadn't really implemented it yet. No, I don't know how long they've been in business. I do know they're pretty new.
I have not heard of a pricing model like that before.
No, I haven't either,
unique.
saying, okay, we're going to reward the newbies, or at least that they're that open and upfront with it.
Yeah. At some point you will have to pay, but right now
it's free, and if you create the account now, it certainly sounds like it's going to continue to be free.
You'd also, yeah, no, that's interesting. And you said there are commerce options too, like if you needed, I guess that wouldn't be the case in a library, but if you needed to charge somebody,
Right. Well, and
for a
sometimes
meeting room or something.
some libraries do charge for some things if they're bringing in, some of your programs. Occasionally you will charge for supplies or things like that. You would be able to put that right there so that people could see when they registered that we're going to expect you to pay for part of this. So it's there if you need it.
Mm-hmm. If you've been watching, you've got ideas for how you might use this, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I think it's an interesting sounding software or what tool, or maybe you're using something similar and have a comparison.
And that could be, I do know that there are things that do this. I just don't have a lot of experience. I mean, you could be doing this with a Google form on your website and allowing people to sign up for things. This is just kind of nice in that it puts a lot of things in the same place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, using it for smaller meeting rooms, that sort of thing. Study
and what
rooms.
I've been thinking about lately is all the libraries that are starting to book appointments for browsing or for computer use, that this would be a way of doing that. People can see what's available, what's not available. It pops right in and can make it kind of nice. I don't know. I mean, you would have to evaluate whether it's going to work into your workflow or not. If your people would like to use it or if it would just become more work for you.
Yeah. Colleen in the chat says, would work for meeting rooms. We have some stipulations. We're doing appointments for browsing and computers. So yeah, you could set up, an appointment type is come browse the stacks. You've got 15 minutes or whatever.
Right. And I think you probably could attach some notes to the registration thing so that they could see, this is what's happening, but you need to know this. I believe that that's all there.
Almost like a waiver kind of thing. If you book this appointment, you're agreeing to not bring food in or whatever other stipulations go along with the meeting room.
I think you could make that happen. That was a little deeper into the weeds than I dug when I was exploring, though.
No, it's a good overview. Other questions or comments from folks? I'm not seeing much. Well, thanks for this whirlwind tour, Eunice. I think this is a great tool.
But yes, I think it was interesting, but it's a little more complex than some of the things that I've dealt with. So this is just really scratching the surface.
Well, I love the way that you could, kind of give an end user some choice in when they come in. You could see available appointments, whatever, if it's for reference or anything else. I think it would be really helpful for sure.